because in Illinois we're really in such a negative situation. We're looking at a 15% layoff of staff within the work on the waste management and cleanup programs, and we're right in the middle of that. We have not had a layoff in over 20 years, and I don't know what kind of impact it's going to have on the morale of our entire working force when we get done with that process. So I guess I don't have any positive words to say. I mean we're really struggling struggling with those issues and trying to come to grips with what we're gonna face. And we've really gotten into this position for two reasons. One, there has been a diminished federal support of state programs. I mean, I know, and I've heard EPA say that they share the pain that states go through. They're not. I don't believe it. I don't believe they're sharing the pain to the extent states are. So we've seen a diminished support from the federal government, and then we've just seen a devastating sweep of our state operational funds from our from our legislature and governor's office over the last several years that has absolutely caught up with us. So
how are you going to get the work done?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're really going to have to look at going back and reducing our commitments to EPA as far as what we're doing with respect to federal workload. On the state aspect, we have already cut a number of significant programs, just eliminated them because we cannot fund them anymore. And we've had a program over the years where we've supported, as an innovative approach, we supported local inspectors to do the job of state inspectors relative to our solid waste programs. That was like 50 positions, and it was a good, cheap way to provide support. We've cut all those positions as well. So it's really been. We have really seen a reduction in our ability to protect human health and the environment.
Are there any states that have faced a similar challenge that has found some strategies or ways that you can counter? North Carolina. Liz?
Sorry. We try to find places where we can become more efficient. And we have made some staffing decisions based on trying to find people who are very good at administrative processes and doing them more efficiently than we have in the past. We've had to make some hard personnel decisions, as in letting someone go who was not productive. And let me tell you, that was very difficult in this economy. But the work was not getting done. We've now got somebody in that slot who can do 3 times as much work as the predecessor. So sometimes it's looking at the talent that you have on board, and when you have an opportunity to change it, to be more productive, to really take advantage of that.
Okay. Did I see anything? Got somebody in the back.
Rick Moss, State of California. One thing that's happening in the water quality program is we're going through all of the commitments to the board, and we're actually acknowledging that with 3-day-a-month furloughs and staff reductions, we can't meet those commitments, and a single resolution will go before the board to adjust the dates on all those commitments. So at that level, there's some acknowledgement that we just can't do what we thought we could do.
Are these federal commitments, state commitments?
No, state commitments.
State commitments. Okay. Anyone else? Is there someone here from Missouri? Oh, I'm sorry. We have a hand over here.
One of the things that the new governor did when he came in Louisiana is we jettisoned almost all of our non-essential duties. we were ordered, each department in the environmental quality department was required to list those things that they were doing, and they had to list the federal and state counterpart that provided that duty, and then they had to list whether there was a separate funding source for that duty. And under that scheme, almost all of the non-essential duties were jettisoned. Some of our recycling programs were gutted. Some of our many smaller programs that the department was doing had to go in order to maintain its ability to do the grant commitments in the major programs.
And how did you define essential?
It had to be required by law and have a separate funding source.
Okay. All right. Is there anybody here from Missouri? Okay, Missouri responded in the survey that new initiatives have been integrated into existing core functions but without additional funding / resources, and such actions have often delayed completion of core function activities. And if you may not be the person that made that statement, but can you talk a little bit about what you've done in Missouri to...
Well, I wasn't involved in completing that survey. I've actually just taken over the position in the solid waste program in the last 6 weeks. So having not been involved in more of the ASTSWMO functions, I'm not as familiar with what programs they were particularly looking at. But in Missouri, we're finding ourselves in the same kind of budget situations that others are talking about. You know, all of our major environmental programs are looking at significant budget issues, and we're going to be in the same boat trying to figure out how we can get things accomplished with minimal resources and those kind of things.
Liz mentioned efficiency. I know in South Carolina, a number of our inspectors, we used to have dedicated inspectors to a particular discipline like solid waste or hazardous waste, and now a number of our inspectors are multi-programmatic. They do hazardous waste inspections, they do air inspections, they do water inspections. Have any states kind of looked at how you can be more efficient in assigning responsibilities to staff in order to ensure that you meet your commitments, your state priorities, your federal commitments, and what are some things that you've done in your states in order to be able to better utilize your staff time?
I don't know if this answers the question. My name is Lloyd Kirk with Oklahoma. Catherine Sharp, our Assistant Division Director, one thing we do is hire interns. Mm-hmm. We have a number of interns on our floor and throughout the building with DEQ. But you know, a lot of the kids, the young man that works for me, he's got his master's degree, probably going to go to MIT, super sharp. We probably have 7 or 8 on our floor alone. But in this economic times, more and more of these young people are working on their master's degree, and they're not going out in the workforce. And I would highly encourage people to do that, because you're getting you have a great talent pool out there that you can hire at a cheap cost. Basically, they're putting it on their resume. They're going on. You know, I try to promote the young man that I have all I can. He wants to work with the EPA, and so I try to introduce him to anyone I can. But it's a stopgap. But we've been doing it for a number of years, but more so recently.
Okay. Got it. All right, good.
Jennifer Pruitt from New Mexico. In our tanks inspection program, because of retirements, we have several vacancies in our inspector group, one of which covers a major part of the northern New Mexico area. So that entire area and all its facilities have not had any inspector assigned to them for way more than a year. And prior to that, there was only somebody there for 9 months who was not particularly effective. So some of these facilities have not really had a serious inspection for 2 or 3 years. So we've approached this